All of this happened at a time when rising crimes among teens triggered a public fear of juvenile criminals.
They are not just gangs of kids anymore. They are often the kinds of kids that are called super predators. No conscience, no empathy. We can talk about why they ended up that way, but first we have to bring them to heel.
Thousands of juveniles across the country, mostly young men of color, were sentenced to life without parole or given the death penalty. The amount of prisoners under 18 years old in adult prisons doubled and reached a peak of 5,400 on a single day in 1997.
We take people who do violent things because something violent has been done to them or they've lived in some place where violence is part of life, and we put them in a place to modify that behavior that runs on violence. You can't survive unless you know deeply the power of violence.
Sentenced the day before his 18th birthday, Dante entered the maximum security prison, Great Meadow Correctional Facility.
There's no real rehabilitation. There's not even a goal of rehabilitation. It's just lock them up, keep them away for a few years, and then somehow, they expect you to be cured of whatever it was that you went to prison for, and you're not.
This environment doesn't nurture pro-social behavior, doesn't nurture that type of, mentality or behavior. It really nurtures you to be the thug, the gangster, the killer, because those guys in this environment get the most respect.
For Dante, the road to redemption was not straight. In 2002, he attacked another prisoner in what he says was self-defense and had 2 to 4 more years added to his sentence.
I'm not a model prisoner. I'm not perfect, and I've had issues, disciplinary issues, adjustment issues. I accept all that. I grew up in here, though. This is where I reached my maturity. I became an adult in prison. What did you expect? You gotta be insane to want this and what this imposes upon your character. Who wants to go back into society and come back to prison? Who wants that? And it's kind of sad, because you would think that any rational person would say, I want to do better. But a lot of guys are not going out there with the skills to be able to succeed. And I realized that these institutions, they don't provide that. So I had to provide it for myself.